Hey everyone, this is Ron Couming coming to you live from Boston, Massachusetts area, and we have Natalie Susi with us.
Hi, everybody. It's beautiful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Where are you calling in from?
So, I live in San Diego. I've been there for 14 years, but I am in Delaware, my hometown, for the last 6 weeks.
Wow, so you're East Coaster now.
I am.
Excellent.
I'm a West Coast girl in a West Coast world anyway. Everybody knows that.
Nice. My lighting's not perfect, so I apologize to everybody, but I want to introduce the show, then I'm going to introduce you, then we can go into the interview, okay? My name's Ron Couming, and I wanted to welcome to the Success Secrets Revealed live stream show. This show we put together basically to bring on subject matter experts, entrepreneurs, people who have basically been there and done that, and they can help you navigate through some of the pitfalls, mental, emotional, financial, experience-wise. So hopefully, if you're starting your business or you're already in your business and you're looking to scale and you hit some of these snags along the way, one or more of these coaches will say something that will help you transcend those and get your business back on track or actually scale it. We are sponsored by RCS Online Solutions, which is a one-stop shop for digital marketing. Get all your needs done for your online presence. Awareness equals opportunity. They can't hire you if they can't find you, right? So RCS Online Solutions helps you attract, convert, retain, and your ideal customers and clients to achieve even greater success. With that said, now we have Natalie Susi with us, and hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, S-U-S-I.
Yep.
Who is the founder of Bare Organic Mixer. And she's also a professor, and she's going to talk to us about her communication and happiness courses and different things like that. You're a professor in a college, I believe, out in California, USD.
Yeah, so I teach a writing and communications class at UCSD about the pursuit of happiness. The theme is the pursuit of happiness. We also teach a climate change course as well. So it's what I always say is the foundation of the course is writing and communication, and then the theme is we're talking about happiness. So I am a coach and a consultant around the same topics.
Excellent. Tell us a little bit more about you and the topics that you coach around.
Yeah, so let me let's see my bed in this frame. Yeah, so I'm a teacher by trade, that is, and a teacher by heart, as cliche as that may sound. This is what I'm meant to do on the planet. I did get laid off in the 2009 budget cuts in California, and I started a business at that time. I had always been curious about what it means to start a business and be an entrepreneur and kind of run your own life. So I started a business in the food and beverage industry. It was called Bare Organic Mixers. It was a whole other lifetime ago. It was an organic low-calorie cocktail mixer, and it came out the same year that Skinny Girl margaritas came out, and a whole segment of the market had shifted and changed to include low-calorie cocktails. So it was a good time and space to create such a product. And I wore all the hats and figured out how to sort of start and run and build a business with, of course, the help of some incredible mentors. And I learned sort of everything the hard way, except for the lessons that my mentors taught me. And in reading books, it was all self-taught. And I sold the company in 2014. And then, woke up one day and just said, I absolutely need to get back into the classroom. And what transpired was a slew of events that were very synchronistic and magical and beautiful, and used a lot of conscious principles on how to create your reality and manifest what you want. And the course that showed up when I made the decision to step back into the classroom was the pursuit of happiness. And I've been teaching that for 4 years. And then I also help corporate and people one-on-one with the same content. So how to create better relationships with their communication, and ultimately how to create more happiness from there.
That to me is that's amazing, and you have done so much in such a short period of time. So you have, in fact, navigated some of those pitfalls that we were just talking about earlier.
Yeah, it's been a really long road. When I think back on my days of Bare Mixers, I was 23 when I started that company. I had no awareness around what it was to be a business owner. I had no awareness around what it was to build a brand in one of the most competitive industries. I had no money, no time. Like I was working 3 jobs to keep my head above water on that business. And what I did have was
Wow.
this, yeah, I mean, I had this desire to finish what I had started and to find success. And I had, I started that company right when the market crashed. I started it like shortly before the market crashed. So the bank gave me money like they were giving everybody else I had no business plan. I didn't have a speck of a business plan when I walked into the bank. I just walked in and said, oh, I have a great idea. And they said, here's money, go do it, have fun. If I would have walked into that bank, that's one of those moments in life where I'm like, that was one moment that put in such a domino effect. Like if I had walked into that bank 2 months later, I would have never gotten that money and my life would look totally different. It's all perfect. It's all as it should be. It's just interesting to think about those impactful, instrumental moments in your life that you had no idea were one of those moments walking into them. It's like,
I loved it. And that was amazing. So it was kind of lucky too, because your life definitely would have taken a different path just by a matter of months, because the ability to get funds at that point wouldn't have been as available to you, or anybody else. You talked about something that I really liked, that you said that you were able to scale and have some success because you had mentors and coaches. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan, and a lot of people that we associate with talk about, seeking counsel, not opinion, and, or advice. Mm-hmm. And, just finding somebody who can be like a mentor and ask them, somebody who's been there and done that, preferably in the industry that you're trying to get into, so you can actually have some tangible experience. Can you tell us a little bit about like who, if you can't name them, that's okay, but the type of mentors and advisors that you had that were more helpful than maybe some of the others?
Yeah, absolutely. I love answering this question and talking about my mentors because I just think I'm so blessed and grateful. And I have mentors in all areas of my life that have taught me all different kinds of things. I have people that are mommy mentors and teach me about what that kind of life looks like. And then I have business mentors, I have spiritual mentors. And basically, I had 4 throughout the 8 years that I ran that business. The first person that I worked with was named Pat. And I met him at SCORE, which is a free facility for people that are starting businesses to go to. I believe there's a SCORE building in every city, every country, or every state. If you need some help, look that up. SCORE. Pat was this incredible marketing genius, entrepreneur, had worked in the corporate space as well, and helped me launch the business, and was very honest and real with me, and would just tell me exactly like it is. He understood where my stuck points were, and helped me sort of navigate dealing with a business partner that had gone sideways, a business partnership that had gone sideways when I first started the business. I worked with Cheryl, who has spent more hours on the phone with me than probably any other person in her life. She was so giving, and she helped me close my deal when I sold it. Max is another incredible mentor of mine who helped me open the deal of my company and then worked with me side by side with the company that bought my company. And then I also had Steven, who's a really successful entrepreneur in San Diego. So just to give credit where it's due, those were the 4 people, and so many other people. But basically the thing to really get, if you're listening to this and you're an entrepreneur or startup, is that it's important to set intentions around this stuff. So more than going out and really like pounding the pavement sometimes, what I learned in Bare Mixers was that I was in a force mode all the time with Bare Mixers. Like I was always grinding and hustling, and I worked 24/7, and I never had any time for self-care, and I never spent time with my friends. I never spent any kind of money on myself. Like I just forcefully pushed that business to success. And I didn't understand the concepts around setting intentions, setting goals, getting in alignment, being on purpose. So everything was like pushing a boulder up a hill. Like it was the entire business. It was like the business was like a challenging child all the time. Like I loved it because I created it and I made it, what it was, and people loved the product and they loved the branding and the name. And, of course, a lot of people were in the picture of creating that as well. But it was a challenge all the time. And if it was not for those mentors, I would have never learned the things I learned. I probably would have never sold the business. Like, I give so much credit to those people. And if you're looking for them, what you really want to do is, and I help people do this now, is like, you want to sit down and you want to go like, what does my mentor look and sound and feel like? Like, what do they make me feel like? It's like calling in a partner for a love relationship. It's the same kind of process. You want to get really, really clear with what kind of person you're looking for, and start to set intentions around that. And they will show up. I know that sounds wacky and woo-woo and spiritual and all that stuff, but the right people will show up. Really, all 4 of those mentors that I got showed up completely synchronistically, totally perfectly, and exactly on time. I did no work to attract those 4 incredible people into my life, like all like magical stories about how they showed up in my life.
Wow, that's amazing. And I like how you talked about how you overcame. I mean, you were literally inundated 24/7 to run your company. Yes. And I, as a business owner, I kind of feel that way sometimes more than others, until I, got my systems and processes, and I learned not to just delegate, but to duplicate. Mm-hmm. For me, I tell my clients, you'll hear a lot of people talking, in the industry will tell, learn it, do it, delegate, right? And that's fine. But when you delegate, you are then trusting others with their experience, their skill set. What I like to do is I like to have people duplicate. So learn it, do it, duplicate. So have somebody create maybe, a series of videos, just short videos. So that way, if that individual employee doesn't work out, you don't have to retrain them. You just stick them in front of the videos. But you teach them exactly what you want done. So if I'm creating something for someone, and I create these videos, and then I bring in somebody and I show them the videos, that person then I'm not delegating the process to them. I've duplicated my efforts, because they're going to do exactly what I want. So then it comes back to me, and I'll edit it and then send it out. So now a 30-hour project for me is down to 40 minutes of editing, and it's the exact same process. So I really liked how you talked about your process, how you felt overwhelmed, but once you started getting into alignment and you started realizing some other things, that it really helped you get out of those feelings, and it really helped your business scale, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love what you're saying too, because that's one of my guiding questions too that I ask all the time is, how do we do this in the most efficient and effective way? Right? How do we do this in the most efficient and effective way? And I tell my students in the Pursuit of Happiness class, and work with my clients on this big overarching question, and kind of similar to what you do. I created a program, an internship program. I have a business partner on as well, where I match entrepreneurs and interns together. And that's what we do, is we create processes around what they're implementing with social media and certain content writing and these kinds of things, so that you can, as an entrepreneur who's starting up and you want to leverage your time, and you certainly need more people to help you, creative, motivated, driven people, but you might not have the resources or funds to hire a full-time person. That's what we do. We set you up with an intern, and they already have the processes in place for how to do some of these things, in just the way that you're saying it too, videos and all of these kinds of things. So
I love it.
The process is important. And I think even what I'd love to highlight as I'm seeing like the stuff scroll down is, founder, yes, Bare Organic Mixers. That was the first business that taught me all of my hard lessons, where I learned everything the hard way. It brought me to exactly where I am now. But I think I'd love to highlight more of the communications and the happiness piece. Like and I say this because it kind of comes back to being in alignment. When you have your thoughts and your speaking and your feelings in alignment around what your purpose is on the planet, that is when things start to line up. And that's when things start to open up. So if you're sitting here and you're listening to this, and you ask yourself, I always tell entrepreneurs, or I always suggest or invite entrepreneurs to ask themselves, like, is the thing I'm doing right now, the product or service that I'm building my life around right now, is it something that I'm healthily obsessed with? Am I going to eat, sleep, drink, breathe, sacrifice, talk about it, sacrifice time, my money? Like, is it something you are healthily obsessed with? Because if it is not, do not do it.
Nice.
Something else.
And I love it. And a lot of people I follow, they talk about be obsessed or be average, So we can certainly move. I mean, that was just kind of like to build up how you came in and stuff. We can certainly move into the communication or whatever else you want to talk about.
Whatever you'd love to highlight is perfect. I wanted to make sure that it's clear, like the Bare Mixers it's an old version of me. It's like, it's the thing I found, it's where all my lessons came in, and I'm so grateful for it. And I love to highlight in conversations like this, like how to get into alignment with what you really, really love to do, because everything opens up when you get there. It's so beautiful when this happens.
Excellent. And I would love to get into that. I just want to let you know, as you were talking a little bit, you went in and out your so I don't know your Wi-Fi, but you just went in and out a little bit, just a second. But yeah, please go on. I mean, I've heard you speak on stages. We spoke at a stage together in California, I think it was, right? Or La Jolla. Yeah. I get my stages mixed up sometimes, right? But I do remember, because then we went for a walk in La Jolla by the beach, and then we went to dinner with Sharon Lecter and some other people, right? That was excellent. That was in the sunset, was amazing. And as well as, the company, everybody at that table. Steve Todman, who was on the show yesterday, he actually, I believe, was at that dinner with us that night. But yeah.
I love that lineup that you've put me in this week. I looked at this and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. All these people on here are my favorites.
Yeah, it was cool too. And Scott couldn't be on yesterday. He had a family issue, but he's going to be on next Tuesday. But other than that, this week will be perfect. But yeah, I mean, I would like to, I didn't get, what you like the banner scrolling down the bottom. I created that just to encompass who we are. But if you had something, what else would you like to highlight there? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you talk a little bit. I'm going to highlight you. I'm going to step out, but that will allow me to type and not look rude like I'm typing down. So what would you like the next banner to say?
I love that. And it's all good either way. I was just highlighting the new stuff. Yeah, you know what? So my newest project that sort of came out of quarantine that I'm really enjoying in the moment is called Conscious Conversations. And so I say, okay, what is a conscious conversation? Conscious conversation is when we create the space for authentic, genuine, win-win conversations where everybody feels seen and heard and valued and honored and understood. And the reason why I am, as I said, healthily obsessed with talking about conscious conversations, which is sort of a term, it's not super unique to me. I'm sure plenty of people have used this term before, but I bought the URL a couple of years ago. I've been playing around with that hashtag for everything that I post because I'm obsessed with how we communicate, why we communicate the way that we do, and how important communication is for our overall health, happiness, health, and well-being. And the reason why that is that, people come to me and they say, okay, you've been teaching this class called The Pursuit of Happiness. Well, how do we feel happier and how do we be happy? And I say to them, well, happiness, your level of happiness is dependent around your relationships with yourself and with others. And your level of the quality of those relationships is dependent on the quality of your communication skills, right? So the communication is the root, the key ingredient, the most important piece of everything that you do, of everything that you're experiencing. It's the root of every unhappy moment is whether communication has gone sideways or not. And it's the root of every happy moment, whether communication has, assuming communication has been a successful. So if you look back on that and you really think, okay, I have people do this exercise, or I ask people to do this exercise when I'm speaking, is think about one moment or one person. When you think about it, you're just like, oh, I'm like frustrated. I'm angry. I'm stressed. I'm irritated. I don't understand how things worked out that way. I coulda, woulda, shoulda done something differently. Or what if I said this thing? Or what if I did that thing? How would this situation look now? That is all, the root of all of that is communication. So if you can learn how to communicate and share conscious communications, have conscious conversations with people, you can mitigate a lot of mess and a lot of drama and sort of level up your level of happiness quite a bit. So I have a process for helping people walk through that. But the project is called Conscious Conversations, and it's kind of like what we're doing right now. It's bringing people on and just sharing with them how they communicate in this way and what some of their conscious practices and daily exercises are that they can share with us so we can continue to raise consciousness.
I love it. And communication is so important. And if you notice, I put conscious conversations down there, right? I Googled it, but I made sure I spelt it right.
You know, entrepreneur. You know that you're a real entrepreneur when you can spell entrepreneur without doing spell check.
I might not have gotten that far yet because I type it in and I usually get autocorrect. But anyhow, so I put it in there. I agree with you 100%. And I've seen that before, like conscious conversations that convert and conscious conversations and different things around that. But it's so important, the communications we have on, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in business, no matter what it is, once you open your mouth like that, I'm pretty sure it's Les Brown. Once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are, right? Yeah. So it's either Les Brown or Jim Rohn who said that. I listen to both of them almost every day. And so I agree with you. That's super important. Now you actually teach, in addition to your business, you're teaching communication skills at a college too, right?
Yep. Yeah. So I teach people, I talk to my students, exactly kind of the term that you're just saying. I teach my students that we're all walking, talking pieces of, I call it rhetoric, because the class is a rhetoric and writing class, and people get scared of that term rhetoric, but basically what it means is just the art of persuasion across all channels. So rhetoric is the art of persuasion across all channels. And what that means is that we are walking, talking pieces of rhetoric or billboards all the time based on like what we're wearing and the way that we're speaking and the tone of voice. Like we're sending a message like a billboard does all the time to everybody that we meet. Unless you're in, a room with 4 white walls and no phone, you are sending a message about who you are and what you want people to believe about you. So That's what I talk to my students about, and I teach them sort of how to navigate that process in like a 6-step process that I've created that's very simple, and it just walks them through step by step. Like, how do I navigate and assess and make decisions on how to communicate in every single one of these communication situations that I'm in all day long.
I love it. And everything. I think one of the biggest problems people have, not just in business, this is kind of a business show, but it's also life. If you're having problems in your life, it's going to affect your business, right? So let's just be real. But communication is so vitally important. If you can communicate your wants and needs, whether it's on a personal level or a business level, to whoever you're engaging with, it just increases the probability that they're going to get met. And, then you also have to listen. One of the most important parts of communication is listening to people. Am I correct? Not just talking. You have to listen to people, internalize what their needs are, what they're telling you through their communications, and, be receptive to it, and then, share yours as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I always tell people in their first step in a communication situation, they want to think about, like, what is my message, purpose, mission, or goal here? So inside of this text or this Facebook message or this phone call or this in-person meeting, whether it's something that you deem to be very important, like an interview for a job you want, or if it's just a simple conversation, like, what is your message, purpose, mission, or goal? And before you act, before you do anything, are you in the right mindset? Are you in the right body space to be communicating a purpose, message, mission, or goal right now, right? So it all comes back to, like, how am I communicating with myself? Where am I at inside of myself internally before I externally do anything? So it's all about proactively taking action instead of reactively taking action, right? So a lot of people that come to me in corporate or just in their one-on-ones, they're coming to me in sort of some kind of a crisis mode. That word's sometimes a little too dramatic, but they're coming to me with some kind of stuck point. Right. So I want to understand my team better. I want my team to work better together, or, I want my husband to understand me, or my parent to understand me, whatever. And there's some kind of stuck point, right? So you have to assess, like, what's my message, mission, or goal here? And am I coming from a well-intentioned place? Like, am I coming from an authentic, genuine, calm, peaceful, love-based place before I take a communication action? right? So that's the first sort of step that you want to consider before you do anything. It's like, what's the space? What's the energetic space I'm coming from before I do anything?
Wow, that's huge. But you know, that comes from like having a sense of awareness too. So people have to even be aware that they need awareness, right?
Yeah.
So what I'd like to ask you is a little bit more about your process, but I want to learn more about your process, and also just to give you a heads up, I'm going to ask you for 3 tips that you think a business owner or an entrepreneur could do now to increase either their business or their communication, which ultimately will increase their business. So whichever works for you first. I mean, what is your process if somebody wanted to contact you to work with you? What, you know?
Yeah. So the process is like I've mentioned a few times before, it's a 6-step process on how to navigate any communication situation with anyone in any area of your life, right? It's a very simple process that can be very powerful and unique. And I take people through, it's an 8-week program working with me one-on-one. And I go through that entire process with you so that you can essentially, when you're done with it, you can navigate any communication situation mindfully and with self-awareness. And I think the good thing to say about all of this too is like, we all teach best what we most need to learn. Like I've learned this stuff the hard way. I've studied it for 10 years. I'm healthily obsessed with studying it because I was challenged by it. I had to look at it from all different perspectives and different angles with all the different relationships in my life. In the program, we assess like, what are your stuck points? What are your patterns? What are your triggers? What are your habits? We essentially, most people are coming to me, they're saying, I'm having problems with this person and this person and this person. And it turns out all these people are the same stories with different players. Same story, different players. So it's a habit, it's a limiting belief, it's a pattern that you've created at a very young age based on experiences that you've had that have caused you to see life through a certain lens. And so you're creating a lot of this stuff and you're calling in these kind of players into your life to work this stuff out. So once you become aware of it, it's not a blind spot anymore. It's in front of you, which is what I help you do. You can navigate it really easily, like way easier. And so that's the 6-step process, 8-week program. I can give more details on that process too. I'm not sure how much time you want to spend on that, but that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Well, I love that. What is how would they got your website going there? Is that where they could contact you for that course, or is there a specific part of that?
Absolutely. That's perfect. Yeah. Just go to nataliesusi.com and you can just email me, put your name in the email box, and I will be happy to chat with you anytime. I always give, free breakthrough coaching call if you're interested in the program. I love teaching this content. I'm here to support whoever's interested in it. I really believe that it can transform your life knowing how to navigate this kind of stuff. And it's not complicated. I always say, it's simple, but it's not easy. It's simple to understand these 6 steps. These 6 steps are very simple. They're not always easy to navigate on your own until you understand why you're doing the things that you're doing. And you can see people in a different, step 2 is around assessing what the other person's message, mission, or goal is, and getting into their shoes and seeing life through their lens and understanding why they're coming at certain situations the way that they are, and finding that coming from a place of love on that instead of fear, frustration, being offended, all that kind of nonsense that doesn't get you anywhere.
I love it. And you've developed this from actual, life experience, things that didn't work and did work, and you just cut out the crap and you put in, what does work, and you just fine tuning it and helping people get to where they need to be quicker. Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I want to be really clear. The steps that I put in place, they're writing, rhetoric, and communication tips. They're not some big unique, I didn't come up with
no downloads.
Yeah, it wasn't like they're unique and they're interesting, but they're basic communication things. I have just put them in a framework that people can run through very quickly that makes a lot of sense to people. Sometimes communication, rhetoric, writing, it feels really big, it feels really complicated, it feels really overwhelming. A lot of my students can you just simplify it? So I've just simplified it and made it usable for corporate, for academic space, and for one-on-one space.
Excellent. You've had 2 or 3 different big events in the last couple of days, haven't you?
Yeah, so I was on the Habitude Warrior Summit last week. I was co-hosting on that one with a bunch of other incredible people. There was a ton of incredible people speaking at that event. We have another one on Friday. That's how, you and I know each other, through Eric Swanson, Habitude Warrior. I was on Bill Walsh's summit, Success Summit, and I spoke about the 6 steps. And then I was on Conscious Mastery Summit, which was incredible as well. That was I loved being a part of a summit that actually had conscious in the title, because that is my big goal. That's my word. That's what I want us to do, is raise our consciousness and step into, who we're meant to be, and communicate from that kind of a place. And I think the world will change, and that's what we need right now. And that's what this moment in time is calling us to do.
Yeah, certainly going through a lot of trials and tribulations. I mean, this video is going to live on, and it's going to be on YouTube, social media. So people might see this a year or two from now, but so what we're giving out is definitely timeless. But situationally, we're going through this COVID-19 thing, and it's, some people are handling it different ways than others, and so it's pretty dramatic for a lot of people.
The numbers continue to grow on it. The effects of it continue to grow. I have plenty of opinions and plenty of thoughts around it. And I think the one thing that I've been saying the most, that I'm happy to share here, that I've been saying on every interview that ever we talk about it, is that, we all know, accept, and believe that are what I call a ditch moment, our individual dark ditch moments, when we've had challenges in life that have put us on our knees, and we've been in a dark ditch and we don't know how we're going to get out of it and how long it takes to get out of it. Those are ditch moments.
Yep.
We all know, accept, and believe to some degree that ditch moments lead us to brighter, bigger things. Individually, we all accept that to some degree. You have a beautiful story. I have a beautiful story on this. All of our stories are the root of them, these crazy ditch moments where we learned a process to get out of them, and we've, evolved as a result. They're caterpillar moments. They're dark moments. They're cocoon moments, whatever you want to call them. But we know that the darkness leads to the light, and we're in a collective ditch moment right now. That's really what it is, and it's a huge, crazy, challenging moment that I don't understand the level of degree in the same way that someone with 4 kids and no job does, right? Like, so I'm be really honest about that. My experience is different than all the other 30 million, 70 billion, whatever the number is, of people on this planet that's been affected by this. We all have our own experiences of it, but we are in a collective ditch moment, and we could all collectively ascend as a result. This could just be a cocoon moment for everybody, and it will be. That is actually what it's going to look like at the end. And that's the other side of it.
Yeah, and it's because, we can, as we were both just talking about an interview that I was watching earlier, and, it all gets into, with the isolation, the safety, and people's ultimate thing of needing companionship, needing to be around other people. And all of a sudden, we're not on a worldwide basis. And we're also led to believe that it's kind of like a negative thing. You know what I mean? You can't touch. You got to be 6 feet away. Now, first it was 3 feet, 6 feet, 12 feet, 27 feet. I mean, you know what I mean? We're, humans pretty much like to have contact, right? So, and I love the way you put it, the cocoon moment too, because it is, and a lot of it is, what happens to us pretty much happens to everybody else, but it's what we choose to do with it when we come out of it, right?
That's right.
And so we can use it as a cocoon moment. I like that terminology. And so when we come out of it, we can then just grow and shine.
Yeah, and it's hard to say this, and I can imagine how it's hard for someone to listen and buy into any of this stuff if you're really, really in a ditch moment, if you're really, really in a fear-based cocoon moment, which is totally valid. But there is an opportunity to go, like, there's going to be a moment in time where I'm the hero of this story and not the victim. And there will be a light to the darkness. And I just say that as, like, I hope that gives some, even just for a second, a measure of, like, there's another possibility here. There is another potential here, even though it feels really dark and bleak. And, because that is really accurate. I mean, our individual ditch moments lead us to a more evolved versions of ourselves. And what we're doing with quarantine is essentially what you do is a spiritual awakening. In the spiritual world, we go inward. We halt distraction, we halt communication, we go inward, we meditate, we pray, we get quiet. And we do that, we inflict it on ourselves in moments where we know we need to, right? In spiritual, when you're doing that kind of connection spiritually, that's being forced on all of us now. We're being forced to not be as distracted, right? We're being forced to deal with our triggers around we can't be distracted. We can't run from our problems. We can't run from the people in our life that we don't want to be quarantined with. So all of our triggers are popping up. It's this perfect storm of dysfunction that could cause us to evolve and ascend. And I really do believe that.
Yeah, I love the way you're talking like that. And I think a lot of people need to hear, more of this. Like for me, when I talk to people, it's more about their business type stuff, what they can do now. This is like a golden opportunity for businesses. You might not be able to make a ton of money, but all those things that you've put on the back burner because you were too busy serving your clients, you can now get addressed and then get it ready. So when we open up again, you're not just starting, because if you're just starting, it might take you 6 months, right? 6 weeks rather. Whereas if you're taking care of it now, you're ready to run. But the stuff you're talking about is more, I think it's more beneficial on so many different levels because it affects everybody's existence, in terms of, like, you're right, with all those trigger points going off at the same time. How are they affecting people who are locked in? And the only stores that are open are alcohol, hardware, and food stores, right? So what do you think is happening? People are drinking more and they're stuck inside with people that they don't get along with, right? Or they're, whatever the case may be. So I think it's super important that people address some of that. If somebody wanted to talk to you about that woo-woo that we, affectionately call it, but they can also contact you on that as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like, that's the stuff that most of my studies and teachings are based in now. It's all, how do we get our thinking, our speaking, our feelings in alignment? What are the prayers, meditations, and intentions? I help people. I have a 5-step process for intention setting as well. So we assess like all 7 areas of your life, all 7 areas of the wellness wheel. And we put together your goals, your intentions, your visualizations, all the things that you would love to see out of the cocoon moment or in your most beautiful version of your life, what each of those areas looks like. And I have a process that I take people through. It's spiritual, mental, physical, emotional. It's all the things, and helps people, start to manifest magic and miracles in their life. And I know that sounds woo-woo and goofy, but it's true. And we can all do that if we get in alignment and tap in and get all of these things. It's really just about, are you telling your mind? Are you saying the things that you want to have happen? Are you thinking the things you want to have happen? Are you feeling about the things you want to have happen? Because if any one of those things is off, it's not going to be as easy to attract it into your life.
I love it. And it's so vitally important. So you have a 5-step process for that and a 6-step process. For now. Do we have any 4 or 7-step things?
Not yet, but maybe someday. I like putting things in frameworks for people. It makes it really simple and palatable and easy for people to be like, okay, I'm at this step and I need to get to this step. And it's just the way my brain works. So.
Yeah, but I think it's the way most people work too. And plus it gives them a sense of they understand where they're going. They have a roadmap, and then they understand where they've been. And it also gives them a sense of accomplishment as they transcend from step 1 to step 2.
Beautiful. Language. It's a beautiful thing.
It is. All right. So this is excellent, man. I could talk to you forever, but I want to be respectful of your time. These courses, do you have like any opt-ins or any PDFs or anything you want to give away to people where they can just get a little more information? I mean, we know your name is Natalie, Susi. Anybody, and it's scrolling down below. I'm going to put your website down here now again. And people can search you out, which is just, it's your name, your website, and get all the information. But is there anything specifically you want to have people drive to?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I'm in the process, right? So I love teaching, and the marketing materials is like my last favorite thing to do. But I have a bunch of these materials. And so just email me. I have a 6-step process, one pager to give to people. If you put your name in the email box, and the phone call too. Exactly. So yeah, we have extra information.
All right. And the best way, the best way to email you right now is go to your website.
Yep. Yeah, just
Okay,
go
to your website.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to.
We're talking over each other.
Sorry. I'll be quiet for a minute.
No, it's okay. I want you to talk. I'm just, because I think I'm interrupting you, but they go to your website and there's a contact us form, right, for them to just fill out. It is amazing. I mean, what you're talking about with both your 5 and your 6 steps, you're helping people on, multiple points to increase the success and happiness in their life, both personally and professionally. Yeah. So, and I've met you, you're a rock star, and beyond that, you're just a super, really nice person too. So people need to get to know you. But also, wasn't it your father's birthday and friend anniversary with Cord? I mean, the last like 2 or 3 days, man, you've just been, the endorphins have just been exploding out there in San Diego.
Thank you. I'm on the East Coast, and I tend to post more here because I'm with my parents, and my parents are super fun and cool. And so I'm always like posting funny stuff that they're doing. And yeah, this was my dad's birthday, he's an incredible human, and, a huge reason I am who I am with this content. And so he just started reading his first spiritual book called The Journey of the Souls. And so he finished it on his birthday, which is pretty amazing. And my mom, I always say she's a walking, talking piece of personal development. She's never taken a class. She's just like a light worker. She's super tapped in. And yeah.
Wow.
So, so that's why the poster like moving and
and I'm seeing them all. We had a friend anniversary the other day. And
yeah.
All that,
have you had Cord on yet? His Cord?
I have not, but I've definitely.
He's an incredible human.
Yep. I only started doing this. This is like my 3rd week, because my radio show, I usually do the radio show, 1.7 million reach, but because of COVID, they're not staffing it with live people. So they're only running reruns. So part of this episode, the video part, will go up on YouTube and all through social media. But then I'm going to strip out the audio. I'm going to send it to the radio station, and they're going to put it in to run live, as, whatever date that they decide to put it in. Because, I got 15 or 20 of them. So
I love that. Thank you. That's beautiful. Yeah. So Cord is a very close friend of mine, and he just wrote One Habit to Beat Cancer with Stevesembolus. And he and I did a video yesterday, a year ago, that sort of just put a lot of things in motion. I mean, he's done a million things that have put things in motion, but that was one of the experiences. And yesterday was the anniversary of the first Facebook Live we ever did, sort of talking about his story, his journey, and the lessons that he's learned. And, now he's writing a book. He has a summit. So he's just an incredible human. And I was celebrating him, and also trying to teach people how, like, for where it's relevant here is like taking one step that's uncomfortable, because neither of us really wanted to do that live video, but we just did it because we knew it was something we were supposed to do. But taking that one step had a domino effect of potential possibilities, incredible stuff that came out of just that one uncomfortable moment that we both stepped into. And that's what I was sort of highlighting in the post. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I love it. And I did see it. And it was your 1-year friend anniversary with him, with Eric, your father's birthday, and this and that. I was like, wow, and she's on this show, and you're also on Eric's last week, this week, and then I saw you on Bill the last like 7 days. I mean, this lockdown hasn't stopped you one bit. You're all over the place.
I've been working harder, but in doing the things that I love to do. And I have a couple more things going that haven't unfolded yet, so I can't really share much yet. But, this is the thing. I appreciate you bringing all that up, only in that my story. So for people to see their story and mine, like, you take a step, you step outside your comfort zone, you get in alignment, you do what your on purpose work is meant to be on this planet, and things, beautiful humans, Eric, you, Bob, like people, Patrick Carney, like people just show up in your life, and they support you and love you, and they want to see you in your light, right? Alex Stern, these people, I mean, I have like the most incredible people in my life that support me, women, men, I couldn't even name them all here, but just amazing people that show up as a result of stepping in your light and being on purpose.
Excellent, excellent. I love it. All right, Natalie, I want to thank you so much for being a guest. I'd love to have you again in like a month or so if that fits your schedule and my lighting's a little bit better. So
Yeah, of course, anytime. I'm here.
but yeah, but excellent. I think you're doing tremendous work, and I'm grateful for the time that we spent and listening to you and learning from you. And I highly recommend people reach out. Natalie Susi, Susi. Am I pronouncing that right, Susi?
Susie and Susi, either is fine. In Italy, they call it Susi. America, we're Susie. It's all good, either way.
Nice. I remember one time we were at an event and it was Suzi.
Oh yeah, Eric used to miss it.
We didn't have to say which event.
I love Eric. He knows I'm just messing with him. He'll like that joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Many people do that, and it's all good. It's fine. Whatever. You can see it on here because you're doing this awesome camera thing. So.
Yep. Excellent. Well, again, I want to thank you very much, and for everybody, Susie, any final things you'd like to say in closing?
Guys, we're in a collective ditch moment. It's an opportunity for us to be in a collective ascension moment. Keep your faith, your hope, your love. I'm here to support you if you need anything additional, and I'm sending you good juju and love.
Excellent. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. You've been listening to Ronald Couming and Natalie Susi on the Success Secrets Revealed show. I highly recommend you reach out and contact her to recap. She has both a 5-step process to help you realign yourself and get, back to who you are. And that will help you both with your business and professional. And she has a 6-step program that will help you connect better with your communications, right? And so you go to her website, nataliesusi.com, connect with her, and you'll get a ton of information. Again, this is Success Secrets Revealed, sponsored by RCS Online Solutions. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Have a great day.